Hi folks, and welcome back to Math with Captain Rod. I'm making this video here to demonstrate how to sketch graphs of quadratics. So here's an equation we're looking at here, y equals x squared minus 12x plus 32. And we're going to hopefully learn how to graph these things without even plotting very many points or using a graphing utility. The idea is that we want to take this and make it look like this. Because once we do, we'll have a lot of information. One, we'll know whether it opens up or down by this value. Now this one we can already see opens up. You can tell because of the number in front of the x squared term, but anyway. We'll be able to get the vertex. The vertex is at the point hk. And typically, if you plot the vertex and maybe just a couple more points, that's usually enough to sketch these things. So let's go ahead and get started. In order to make this look like this, what we have to do is a process called completing the square. And completing the square is about taking these two things and trying to make it look like x minus something, the quantity squared. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this 32 and we're just going to kind of move it over to the right here. And the idea now is, again, we want to take this and make it look like this. So we want to make it look like x minus something, the quantity squared. Now, the something, remember how FOIL works. If I were to take x minus, I'll put question mark times x minus question mark here, the outer and inner terms would have to give us minus 12, right? That means these things have to be 6s. So I'm going to go back and oops, there it is, that's what I was looking for, get rid of this. What I'm going to do is put a 6 right here. Now, the kicker though is that the last term when you FOIL this now is plus 36, and there's no plus 36 here. So what we'll do is we'll just supply it. We're going to go, okay, I'm going to put a plus 36. Now by doing that, these are exactly the same, but I have now changed this equation. I've added 36 to the right-hand side. So I can fix that by either adding 36 to the left or coming over here and subtracting 36. Now we haven't changed anything. My new line now, this is equal to this. I have completed the square on that. And 32 minus 36 is negative 4. All right, so again, this process is called completing the square. Basically, here's what you do. You look at the number in front of the x, cut it in half. That's what this is going to be. Cut it in half and then square it. You're going to end up having to add that here and then subtract over here, or add that number to both sides. Once you do, this can factor now. It's now a perfect square. You simplify the right, bang, we've got this looking exactly like this. If you're seeing this for the first time, don't worry, this always confuses people. I'll go through many more examples. All right, let's get this sketched and then we'll work on a different example. So what we can see now, right, x minus 6, x minus h. The h is 6, and then here's k, and here's negative 4. The k is negative 4. So we know that the vertex of this parabola is at the point 6, negative 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. The a is positive, if you will, so we know that this thing opens up. Now, the question is, since it opens up, where it crosses this axis is very important. I'm going to go ahead and look for those values now. There's a couple ways we can solve it. We can set this one equal to 0, or we can set this one equal to 0. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And again, the reason I'm setting y equal to 0, I want to know where this thing crosses the x-axis. And the important fact of life here is that on the x-axis, y is equal to 0. So let's take this now and write it 0 equals x minus 6 squared minus 4. And now we want to solve this for x, so we'll add 4 to both sides. Now we'll square root both sides. Now keep in mind here that whenever you have equations like this, there's two possibilities. The x minus 6 could equal 2, because 2 squared is 4. But the x minus 6 could equal negative 2, because negative 2 squared is also 4. Solving this one for x, we get x equals 8. And here, let's see, adding 6, we get x equals 4. So we know this goes through the point 4, 0. We know it goes through the point 80. And that's enough to kind of sketch the graph here. We know that that's the vertex. So this parabola looks something like this. Now, you notice that, look at the symmetry of this. See how there's a point like, couple to the left, couple to the right, and that's true all along this. This line is a special line. It's a line that the parabola is symmetric about. This line right here. This is called the axis of symmetry. Whenever the axis of symmetry is vertical like this, it's going to have the mathematical form of x equals some number. And in this case, x is equal to, where'd it go here? 6. So here's the axis of symmetry for this parabola. Here's a quick sketch done by completing the square. I hope that this video helped demonstrate how to do this. Have a great day.